So in today's episode, we're going to be creating a gatehouse slash drawbridge tower kind of structure. For the most part, this building is kind of a new building for me. It incorporates a couple of different elements that I'm not super used to currently, which is not necessarily extreme height, but more so the side as well as the other like upper kind of details. A lot of it is newer to me, but the general premise is pretty okay and pretty familiar. The goal is to make sure that the building is wide enough to where it makes sense where it's at, as well as tall enough to be useful, both in the terms of a watchtower as well as a gatehouse. I don't have access to barrier blocks, so in the event that you have seen this design elsewhere, you probably know what kind of thing that I'm going for. I took inspiration from a snapshot slash screenshot of a texture pack off of Planet Minecraft. I'll probably leave that texture pack in the link below. However, it is not updated for 1.16. It is only updated up to, I believe, 1.15. which does not include the Nether update, and so I forewent downloading that again. I did used to use it. It was the Conquest texture pack, or the Excalibur texture pack. I really did enjoy that texture pack, however, it's not updated for 1.16, so I stopped using it. As you can see right now, the tower is coming along quite nicely. I'm adding in some of the other details around here and there. Most of this structure is going to be cobblestone and stone brick, so in the event that you don't have either of those materials, it is heavily encouraged that you acquire them. And then there's going to be a smattering of smooth andesite, or polished andesite as I believe it's called, but overall it's mostly only done on the baseline of the walls. Here I'm trying to figure out where I need to go from there. Here I fill in the floors of each of the levels of the tower. Ultimately, there will be 4 levels instead of the 3 that you see here. This is where the smooth or polished andesite comes into play along with the cobblestone. We want this building to be able to be shot from arrows, or rather to shoot arrows from, and so you're going to have relatively tall windows or windowless slats in each side. The goal is to be able to rain down arrows on those who would be trying to go up the bridge or down the bridge without permission. Here I'm building the detail that I'm kind of unfamiliar with. I end up using this a lot more in the builds later on that you'll see in stream. For the most part, this build was unfamiliar to me because I hadn't used this kind of detail before. Generally, I try and refrain from using stairs on the sides like this because at least before, my builds primarily consisted of overhanging stairs, and so I had always felt like it looked a little bit weird. But I feel like this instance actually turned out pretty well. It didn't end up too horribly. I did want to see how overall the transition, leaving that in there, moving the camera over to the other side, I'm going to see if it's left is going to look okay. Here I start working on the wooden drawbridge. I want to say this bridge is 13 blocks long and 5 blocks wide, along with a side of logs. I'm placing down a base of cobblestone so that I can place vertical logs all the way across. And then I put a little bit of a parapet design on them as well. I placed an iron block there to kind of facilitate the idea of a metal weight or a metal joist that it's connected to. Here I'm creating the actual winch system, or what would potentially be a winch system for the drawbridge for it to be drawn up. Here I'm placing a similar iron block underneath the wood so that it makes sense to be connected iron block to iron block, and it's going to make a little bit more sense thematically. Or in terms of aesthetically, anyway. We come back to finish out the other support arm. And then I'm adding stairs to the top of the joist, as well as to the bottom, I believe. Yep, here we're adding stairs to the bottom of the joist. These are cobblestone stairs to contrast with the majority of the materials used to build the tower, which is stone brick. Now we're adding support beams across it. These are just oak fences. Here, I decided that I needed to go up one more level on the tower, and so I started to build one more floor. This type of construction is largely similar all the way up to the top, and so you just have to copy and basically paste up as you go. Obviously, you'll be able to add more details along the outer edge the higher it is or the taller that you build the structure. That way it's a little bit different throughout. Here we're doing the same kind of design to the top as we did for the Mage Quarters Tower. That way it's going to have some machicolations as well as some battlements that you can hide behind in the event that you were trying to stop a siege from the top. Here we just fill in the next top floor. Finally, we're adding some minor details to the floor directly underneath the, I'm going to call it the crown or the apex of the tower. These are the exact same kind of details that we added to the Mage Tower. Again, I'm trying out the new, or not necessarily the new, I'm trying to keep that particular transition in. It was smooth enough to stay, I think. Here we add the chains. These chains just attach from iron block to iron block. We add the bottom detail underneath the drawbridge, because you will be able to go underneath the drawbridge. Here we're adding the details to the top of the gatehouse, kind of the floor supports. And then here is an entire wraparound. That way you can kind of see the whole structure in its glory. Psych, you thought that was the end of the video, didn't you? Be sure to catch me live on twitch.tv/gunner113 to see some exclusive content just like what the clip you're about to see is from. We do all kinds of games such as Minecraft, World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, The Division 2, all kinds. Lately I've been doing a lot of Guild Wars 2 and Minecraft, so if that's your bag, be sure to catch me live at twitch.tv/gunner113. I accidentally looked at an Enderman. Oh god!
There's fucking 3 more down here in the water.
Oh god, I accidentally looked at an Enderman.